Want to say anything to those people?
I would say don't do it. That's terrible, because I'm going to bring this country together.
They're harassing Latinos, Muslims.
I am so saddened to hear that, and I say stop it. If it helps, I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera: stop it.
That is Donald Trump's message following racist incidents as well as some hate crimes across the country since the election. You've seen thousands of Americans taking to the streets in protest following the election. And the question now is, what can the president-elect do to help, do to turn down the temperature? Let's talk about it with CNN political commentator Anna Navarro, and also Richard Cohen, president of the Southern Poverty Law Center, is with us, a legal advocacy group specializing in civil rights. Thank you guys very much for being here. So Leslie Stahl asked Donald Trump about these incidents on 60 Minutes. Let's tick through some of them because there have been hundreds across the country. Let's name some of them so our viewers know what we're talking about. A Muslim student threatened with a lighter in Michigan. Trump with an exclamation mark written on NYU's Muslim prayer room door. Build the Wall chanted at a Michigan middle school. In North Carolina, graffiti that read Black Lives, votes don't matter. There are many, many more of them. Nazi-themed graffiti in Philadelphia. I could go on and on. Let me begin with you. The Southern Poverty Law Center obviously putting out a very strong statement last night condemning Donald Trump naming Steve Bannon to be his right-hand man in the White House. Breitbart, actually a headline on Breitbart yesterday, the news site that he ran, said that these were sort of media-created fake hate crimes. Your thoughts?
Well, Trump wasn't much better last night on 60 Minutes. He said he had heard about one or two of these incidents, and the reality is there's been far more than 300 of them. And they've been everywhere, in schools, in places of business like Walmart, on the street. He needs to take a little bit more responsibility for what's happening out there.
And as Chris made the point, this is someone who monitors the media 24/7, and it has been widely reported over the last, 6 days since the election. Anna, let's pull up your tweet for our viewers, okay? Here's what you tweeted when this news broke last night. Oh, hell, white supremacist, anti-gay, anti-Semite, vindictive, scary-ass dude named senior strategist after vomiting. Be afraid, America. The question becomes the normalization of this, right? So I had someone on my show last night comparing Steve Bannon on the right to, say, a David Axelrod on the left. You're a conservative, so you're not on the left going after him. Your thoughts?
Look, I think that the appointments he makes early on are the first signal he's sending about what kind of president he's going to be. I think many of us are torn by the utter disdain that we have for candidate Donald Trump and the utmost respect we have for the office of the presidency of the United States. And we want to give this guy the chance. We want to extend an olive branch. We want him to extend one to us. But if what he is doing is naming somebody like Steve Bannon, who has got such a track record, such a reputation for being controversial, for leading the hunting season against Republicans, forget about everybody else, who has filled his publication with anti-Semitic, anti-Hispanic, anti-everything type of headlines, you have got to be very concerned. He did very well appointing Reince Priebus. Reince Priebus is a normal guy. He's not anti-Semitic. He doesn't assault women. He's not anti-Hispanic. He's not anti-immigrant. At this point, I'll take him and I'll love him. But it was like you saw Donald Trump appoint Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde last night. And it is very concerning for people because those hate crimes that are going on in America are real. We are not making them up.
Some of them are happening.
Trump knows they're real.
I mean, some of them are happening at elementary schools, Richard, as you well know, documenting over 300 of them. Some elementary school and middle school kids were given, notices of deportation from their fellow classmates last week, and people chalked it up to a joke. That's not a joke.
No, it's really
those are shoes that you and I don't know what it's like to live in, right? But let's get to someone. Let's listen to Dave Chappelle. If you missed Saturday Night Live, this is one line that I think we will always remember. Anna brings up an olive branch. Here's his to Donald Trump.
I'm wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'm going to give him a chance. And we, the historically disenfranchised, demand that he give us one too.
Donald Trump said when he became the president-elect, Richard, I will be the president for all Americans, and he said, I will bind the wounds of division. He has not come out and directly addressed these hate crimes, except for in that interview, or the protesters, frankly. He's tweeted about them at one point, calling them professional protesters, a few hours later saying he loves the passion. What would you like to see from the president-elect?
Two things. First, he needs to publicly denounce bigotry in all its forms. Secondly, he has to walk the walk. He just can't talk the talk. He has to assure the American public that no members of his administration will be members of extremist groups, will have any extremist ties, and unfortunately,
But
with
Steve Bannon is
he's already broken his pledge to the American public, I'm afraid.
Anna, what do you want to see? I mean, you want this president to succeed. Many Americans have come out behind him and said, you know, it wasn't my choice, but I want what's best for the country. What can he do right now?
I absolutely want him to succeed. This is my country too, and if he succeeds, the country succeeds. What do I want him to do? I want him to stop playing games and pretending that he doesn't know these hate crimes are going on out there, and I want him to really genuinely address his supporters. He did so last night, but he needs to do more. Donald Trump needs to understand that whether he's a racist or not, he peddled in this for the last 18 months. And he unearthed an ugly underbelly in America. He unleashed feelings of racism, of hostility, of sexism, of division that are now out there. Some of these folks feel legitimized and empowered by his election. It is up to Donald Trump, who did not invent racism. Let's be very clear about this. This was out there already, but he unleashed it in a way we hadn't seen it in decades. And if he wants to be able to govern this country and unite Americans for his benefit, for all of our benefit, it is up to him to denounce it strongly. He should use the bully pulpit he now has as a president-elect and give a speech on unity, give a speech on racial unity, give a speech on the unity of American values.
For example, the KKK is planning a rally this week in North Carolina to celebrate his election. He could come out, as you're saying, Anna, and give a speech around that, condemning that. Quickly, Anna, your message to Americans who are afraid right now.
Don't be afraid. Denounce it. Don't lose hope. Get motivated, get engaged, go out there. He's our president. We have to deal with him for the next 4 years, but that does not mean you lose your right to speak. That does not mean you lose your right to be an American. That does not mean you lose your right to protest. And you are not alone. There are a lot of people in America who will be watching your back, who will be standing in solidarity with you. So to the people who are legitimately afraid of a Trump presidency, you are not alone.
And in Navarro, Richard Cohen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. What is your take? Obviously, a lot of opinions on this. Tweet us at New Day. Post your comment on Facebook at facebook.com/New Day. Chris.